4.
Yep, 100 in episode 24 of Breaking the Base. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. I am happy to say that the whole crew is here today, and we are going to be talking about the best and worst sci-fi television. Now, we pretty badass ones, so you probably won't see a lot of worse ones, but you will see some good ones, and you will get some good commentary.
Give that man some oxygen. Tried it all in one shot.
But I do have with me here, Ken has again joined us. If you hadn't seen, in fact, we got two videos about Black Panther, one with me and Madam B, and one with me and Ken. I'm gonna say Chris for some reason, but go check those out. They're awesome.
You know, that's very funny that you say that, because there's somebody else who used to call me Chris all the time too. And he's like, Chris, and I'm like, who are you talking to? He goes, oh, damn it, Ken. Yeah, that was always funny. It's funny that you did that, though.
But without further ado, let's go ahead and just get into this video. We are talking about the best and worst sci-fi television shows. What are the rules for this? What can we talk about? We can't. We are going to get more towards the science fiction stuff. Eureka, The Expanse, more space-oriented ones. Are we including? We're not including animated ones.
No, we'll save that for another show.
I'm trying to think about. I just thought about something new. I can't even think about what it is now. Screw it. I can't remember.
I was kind of thinking of exactly what you were going along. In fact, actually, I love the Eureka series too. That was always a great one to watch. I'm kind of, which one?
But you know about Haven.
Oh yeah, Haven. That's more kind of a sci thriller, really. No, it has sci-fi because it does have the barn, and the troubles.
Yeah, it's science fiction.
Yeah. I had this idea today because I was sitting there because I was going over io9.com and I was watching. They said The Expanse came out as of yesterday, which is a phenomenally cool series. If you haven't got to watch it yet, it comes on Sci-Fi. It comes on Wednesdays, I think at 8 o'clock Central Time. And The Expanse is a I wasn't really sure about how to play the series. It looked cool, and it's not overly high tech, but it's got a really cool storyline because it's based on a series of books under the same name. And I think there's like 5 books now. And it basically, the premise is basically that Earth has been able to develop interstellar travel. They've expanded as far as Mars right now currently. But Mars is its own government, its own group, and they have a dream of making Mars like Earth, terraforming it. But it won't happen in most of the people's lifetime, but it's going to happen. Earth has its own, again, military, and Earth is Earth. And then in between, you have what's called, there's an asteroid belt that orbits our solar system. And on the asteroid, they've actually found like water and minerals and stuff, and they're actually tapping those resources because the Earth's kind of run low. Mars doesn't have a lot of it. So they use what they call belters. And the people that are there are born on the belt in a kind of a lower gravity environment. They're kind of treated like third-rate citizens. They're important, but we don't really care that much about you. Yeah.
Oh, I remember now. Let me interject right quick. When we say sci-fi, we're not talking about the Sci-Fi Channel. We're going to limit it from comic superhero stuff. We can do a totally different video about that. It's just going to be strictly robots, science fiction, space, and stuff like alternate dimensions, stuff like that.
Woo.
We got to start establishing rules and stuff so we know what the hell we're talking about.
Do we always have to have rules?
Rules keep things interesting.
Sometimes. Chaos is also interesting as well.
True.
Who's chaotic now? Me. But yeah. Well, see, Expanse is a sci-fi series.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to have to talk about it because it's that good of a series. I don't care about your stupid rules.
Excuse me.
But Expanse is a really good series. It's got a very good developing characters. I mean, the characters are interesting. The story is interesting. You got different perspectives. You have people from Mars, people from Earth, people from the Belt. You have another character that's really not from any of them. It's called a protomolecule, which is kind of what the discovery was. It's some type of organism or something that it's not even been defined yet. It's something that's been weaponized, but it's all tying these things together, and it's basically building to a galactic war between Mars, Earth, and the Belt. But the graphics in the show are excellent. The characters are very well developed. You get a real feel for when you watch the show, and you. The good thing is you see it from all different sides. It's not just one group of people that you see the story developing from. You see it developing on multiple layers and multiple platforms, and it's excellent writing, excellent characters. And I highly recommend that if you are interested and enjoy something. If you liked Battlestar Galactica, the reboot, you'll definitely like The Expanse. Very good series. Definitely encourage you. They're on season 2 now, so I'm sorry, season 3. So it has been a very good series.
You have one?
Well, you said no Sci-Fi Channel.
I mean, if
We're
there's
ignoring that rule.
if it's got science fiction on it, but we're trying not to be like strictly like sci-fi. So like, wasn't that on a Sci-Fi Channel? And we name off 20
Didn't I
movies.
see
that
the
were on
T-Rex with the
Sci-Fi
robotic arm?
Well, you didn't say movies. You
Channel.
said.
I mean, yeah, television shows. I'm sorry.
I mean, well, half of the sci-fi like series is on the Sci-Fi
Yes.
Channel.
I know.
Yeah.
I meant like I didn't want it to be like strictly sci-fi. I didn't want anybody to be like, okay, so they're talking about the Sci-Fi Channel, sci-fi or science fiction.
Yeah, but a lot of the series now are on sci-fi.
You know what?
That's the sad thing. Well, Netflix has got a bunch of good ones on it too. Altered Carbon's another one.
Mouth on that one. Okay, let me shut up. Enough with my rules. Let chaos reign.
I mean, I was gonna say Haven since I saw all of that.
So let us
Series.
know what's going on
Good
about Haven.
series.
It's about Audrey.
Ah, that woman.
Didn't we have a Haven show like many episodes ago?
No,
we talked about Haven, I think, with Stephen King.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's not we didn't have a
completely Haven show though.
Which we're hoping Madam B will lead us through. But tell us about the Haven.
well, Saul's a special agent, Audrey, or whoever she just
Audrey Parker.
wanted to be, during that time. She doesn't live in Haven, man. She's like for a case. It's like she went to Haven, and then she finds herself getting caught up in what they call the trouble, and then all of it just goes out of whack.
What is these troubles you speak of?
Well,
Yes. What are the troubles? Not tribbles. Troubles.
the troubles in that town are what people have that, like, it's like an affliction, but they don't want it. And it's like it can hurt people, it can hurt themselves. Like the cop that Audrey ran into,
Nathan.
he couldn't feel. So, to him that's bad because he wants to feel. And there was one, her touch was I forgot her name. Too bad they killed her though. I mean,
What?
oops.
Good thing you didn't drop no names.
Dang, spoiler.
Hey, it's this person from this episode in
Well-
season this.
I didn't know she bit the bullet.
Well, anyway, she's trying to solve these troubles and trying to, like, each episode is something different, and it's either the troubled or something affecting the troubled, and they all know what they have to do. At the end, they get her to go into the barn, but this particular person, this particular Audrey Parker, Nathan doesn't want her to go into the barn. So he's trying to find a way around it. Basically, that's what happened to all.
They try to stop what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
They're trying to stop Ragnarok.
Inside joke.
I have to bring in my absolute all-time favorite science fiction television show?
Land of the Lost?
No, Doctor Who.
Oh, Doctor Who. It's a good show. I've been watching since Fourth Doctor.
I haven't seen the new ones yet. I hadn't seen any of the new stuff yet.
I haven't either.
Doctor Who is about this humanoid alien that travels through time and space, fighting different bad guys, both human and extraterrestrial, and some even interdimensional. And he normally travels with companions, most of them humans. The show is, for lack of a better term, like a really awesome show because it's been running for a long time. I believe
30...
I believe it's long. I think it's like 50 years, 60 years. I think the first ones came out in 1950.
Oh, no, I don't think it's that old. It's old, but I don't think it's that old. 1963.
So it's been about 50 years, maybe more than 50 years. It's been around for quite a while. And one of the significant things about the show is its ability to be fresh. And it's because the Doctor is able to take on multiple lives, and those multiple lives are portrayed by different actors.
55 years.
Mm-hmm. And this allows every time that one Doctor dies off, another person takes his place. Another actor takes the new Doctor character, so it refreshes the character himself. And with all the time travel and space travel, there's just things just happening all the freaking time. It's just a very diverse show. Some episodes could be comedic, some could be horror based, some could be dramatic. It's just everywhere. It's a great all around show, and I highly I just recommend everybody just watch it.
Yeah, it's been a very long standing series addressing a lot of issues and things that have gone on. And again, as you said, the unique perspective is that you may have a particular doctor, and they go by numbers. In this case, Doctor 1, 2, 3, 4, exactly. Each doctor has a unique personality, a different style, a different take, kind of the same mission, but each one does it a little bit different way. And they have, again, their quirks and their weirdness. I started with Tom Baker, which was the fourth Doctor.
Love Tom Baker. It was great.
He's probably one of my favorites. Peter Davis was the one after him, which was the blonde-haired question mark Doctor. There's been a couple that a lot of people don't like that were very short-lived. Tom Baker's son was very short-lived, and the one after him was very short-lived. And then we had a lot of other characters that came on, like Matt Smith.
Love Matt Smith.
Like number 10 or 11.
I think it was 11. Yeah, it was 11.
And then you had Michael Eccleston, who played a kind of a more darker Doctor. I don't want to say darker. I mean, he was kind of.
That who?
Eccleston.
Christopher Eccleston?
Maybe it's Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah.
I said Michael, but that's what I had in my head.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking he played a character in Thor.
Yeah.
He was the Dark Elf leader in his
Malachi, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. That's probably where it stuck in my head. And some of the ones that they've been, some are really old, like old fashioned, drive like a Model T looking car. Some have been super free, like hippies. That's the uniqueness of the character. And again, as Narik was saying, they address issues. Some episodes are timeless, literally timeless. I mean, they're just so well thought out. And now the new Doctor is actually taking on the perspective of a female. And I haven't seen any of those yet, so I don't know how that's going to work. But a lot of people were like really upset with it. But I think it's actually a good idea. I mean, the Doctor doesn't have to be a guy; it has been for the last 55 years.
And plus, his arch rival, the Master, was turned into a female.
Yep,
and was highly everybody loved her.
Yeah, she was a badass.
Yes,
so it was a lot of cool stuff. So it is a good series. It's older, but you know what? You could jump in there anywhere you want. And but jump on the beginning of the character when they start that particular character, and that way, because you will kind of at least learn that character before the next Doctor shows up, because then you'll start seeing those different perspectives and different takes on each Doctor as they go. But I think any episode though is very entertaining, no matter what. So you will enjoy it. I've enjoyed Doctor Who for a very long time as well. Next, Oh, that would be me, I guess,
Yeah.
huh? How about the revised version of Battlestar Galactica?
I'm in
That
the dark on this one. I have not seen it. All I know
Oh
is
my god, that is such a good series. I remember when Battlestar Galactica came out in the early 70s, early 80s, I think. And it was a movie, and then they made a TV show and kind of re kicked it back in gear. And then it was a TV series for many years, and we had characters like Apollo and Starbuck and Commander Adama. Basically, robotics have taken over. You know, it's kind of like the Matrix, but much more reverse. You know, humankind was in 13 colonies, 12 of which were known, one was lost. The humans built Cylons, or robotic workforce, but the robotic workforce also then became the robotic war force and eventually gained sentience and said, hey, we're tired of this crap. You guys are screwing us over. And uprose and started basically wiping out humanity. And they came in and they attacked all the 12 colonies at one time and wiped out most of humanity. Battlestar Galactica is actually a warship, a large, like an aircraft carrier version of a ship that has fighters and the crew, and very self-sustaining. And so they gather what's remaining of the human populations as they go through, and they're basically using a kind of, it would be like their faith slash, trying to find where the 13th colony went, because no one where it went. That's the only place they feel they can be safe. So it kind of follows them as the Cylons are pursuing them through the galaxy, and as humanity is, what's left of humanity is trying to get away and keep it and rebuild itself. And lessons learned this time. That's the original premise of the series. Move forward, update the graphics, update the story slightly, with a lot more better effects. Obviously, a lot more storyline. But in this case, the Cylons, instead of being what they call tin cans, have evolved not only uh, mentally, but physically. They've been able to basically grow organic cyber bodies, and so you had what your everything's sentient. The main ship that they in has an intelligence. The what they call Sentinels, or the Cylons that we knew, have basically been organically. They have a brain or something along those lines, something similar to that. They have personality, but basically, they have a human form now, and I think they said there's 7 models or 12 models, and we see a lot of the different characters. The blonde-haired lady we see, which is number 6, and then there's several different other ones. Each has a different skill set. Like there's one that's a doctor, one that's kind of like a preacher or a leader.
Doctor Who?
No, not that doctor. But if they get killed, the thing is they resurrect. So let's say you and I are fighting together, and I'm a Cylon, you're a human, and you try some new trick on me. Well, I remember that, and when I die, if you happen to beat me, my consciousness is uploaded to another body, and I come back, and now I know exactly what I knew before, plus more, and then that information can be shared, which makes them even more dangerous. So the whole series rolls around the fact that the Cylons don't care about life anymore, period, even though they have the experience of human body or something very close to a human body. Some of the models have learned love, what love is. Some have learned war. Some have learned compassion. And then they got split amongst themselves, so they internally fight while the humans are still trying to find the lost 13th colony.
Mm-hmm.
Very good series. Um, I think it went on for 3 or 4 years, maybe even longer than that. But it is an excellent story. You need to come in the beginning of it and follow it all the way through. Binge watch, whatever you got to do, because there are some standalone episodes, but the overall is a story arc of humanity trying to save itself and rebuild. And as you go through there, you develop with the characters. The writing's good, the visual effects, the music, the soundtracks. Everything about that series is excellent, top notch. And if you can watch it in HD, it's even better, because the amount of detail work that they put into the series is phenomenal. So enjoy it in the full scale that you can. Definitely. Good series to watch. Next. Madam B,
Oh,
your
um,
turn.
would the $6 million man be one?
Which one?
The old one?
Oh, yes, it would. Yes, it would.
Yeah, educated.
Steve Austin and Oscar Goldman and Bionic Woman and the Bionic Sasquatch. Gotta have the Sasquatch in there.
I did watch Bionic Woman.
I've only seen, I think, one episode because my mom used to watch it.
Oh, wow. I used to watch the crap out of that show.
What's it about?
It's about this man is Major Steve Austin, not the wrestler.
I keep thinking of the wrestler.
He's an astronaut. He got into a crash, and I guess everything was messed up. Like
he was jacked up. He lost an arm, 2 legs, an eye, and some hearing.
Dang.
Yeah.
And basically, Oscar Goldman was in charge of an agency. I cannot remember the name of the agency, but they basically said, we can build him and make him better. That was the whole Steve Austin. And they basically gave him a new robotic arm, legs, an eye, and an ear.
Okay, I think I've heard it. No, I'm thinking of Bionic Woman. Sorry.
Same concept. Bionic Woman had the same thing, but hers was a parachuting accident. But she lost both legs, oddly, the other arm, the other eye, and the other ear that he didn't lose.
And Sackhoff was in that too.
Ta-da! But yeah, that was a really cool series. It basically covered Steve Austin in his working for X agency, which I can't remember. It's been so long, but it kind of dealt with him, him not feeling human anymore because he was all robotics. Or, a good chunk of him was robotics. Darth Vader, basically, hey, you know what? That's strange, because he did lose an arm and 2 legs.
Mm-hmm.
And so did Anakin Skywalker.
Legs, right arm, and eye.
What are the odds of that happening?
They said the powers weren't exactly explained, but, whenever they fight, they have the... when they fight, that's what they have over the fight scene.
Yeah, it's just the mechanical noise of them. I never really truly explained it, but every time you would always hear them running or using his bionic ear or eye, they always had that.
Yeah.
So if they take off running like this.
Yeah, they have that weird noise. Yeah, go. You have to look at some clips. But yeah, it's pretty trippy.
I didn't realize that. I was actually making fun.
But it actually happened. But yeah, it was pretty cool. And then they tied in Bionic Woman into the series with a similar accident, but they teamed up later on as the Bionic Man was kind of slowing down. They brought on her to throw some women into the shows and get that audience in there. And then they had a couple movies. I mean, not like TV movies, not big screen movies.
Oh, so I didn't even know that they did that with Bionic Woman.
Oh yeah, Bionic Woman came back as a series about 6 years ago or 5 years ago. They brought Bionic Woman back for a reboot, and it was actually not too bad, but they just didn't get the audience to it. Kind of washed.
When Blockbuster was going out of business, I went and bought some DVDs, and I bought a couple episodes. I was like, okay, this actually ain't that bad.
It wasn't bad for a 1970s series. I mean, again, we talked about this once before too. What audiences now expect versus what audience then expected.
Yeah.
For me as a kid growing up, seeing a half-wad fake robot arm was pretty cool. Now you want to have the whole arm articulate and move like the Terminator. That's what people expect. But you got to remember the time frame that these series were made. I mean, computer graphics hardly existed. I mean, if it was anything, it'd be like Tron or less, the original Tron. That was a groundbreaking computer-based movie. So, you have to take it stride. But story-wise, it had a lot of really cool stories, and it was really neat. Again, at that time, they addressed some of the issues of the time through storytelling, things that were going on. We had, of course, the Cold War was going on, so, we were involved in Russian spies were big. People stealing technology to make the better armies. You still had a lot of racial issues going on. They kind of addressed that in the few episodes.
More mystical, but you have watched The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
And that one
I love Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, I like that one too.
I always remember the music at the end. That has always stuck with me forever. That do 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 when you see him hitchhiking and walking with his purple pants.
You know what stuck with me the most on that?
He didn't always have on purple pants.
Oh, come on. We all know it's one size fits all purple pants.
You know what always stuck with me about that series?
Which?
That slow motion running. Nobody pulled it out better than Lou Ferrigno.
Yep.
Especially we
watched the whole slow motion to
and everything's in slow. Episode, and it was so funny. He slow motion ran to the middle of the screen, went to normal mode, putting something down or picking something up, and then slow motion ran right back off.
Yep.
I
almost forgot about that till you said it. And even when he when he would Hulk out and stuff, it'd all be slow. Yeah. You won't like me when I'm angry. What?
Holy crap. Something, or he throws somebody. They'd be like, I want to bring up a show, Heroes. I don't know.
Excellent.
That one was a really good show.
First season was awesome. Second season was, and then after that they lost it.
It started going downhill.
It started I was like, woo, Skylar. Who's Skylar? What other people are out there in the music? I love the beginning of the intro music too. Sean Carr is the artist's name.
Heroes is about this group of people that end up developing power.
It's evolution.
Yes. And the bulk of the series, most of the people want to kind of live their own lives, but there are a few that actually want to stand out and do other things. It follows this one character that's trying to prevent, I don't want to say, just trying to prevent this disaster from this one hero, or whatever the hell he is, whatever you call him, who has the ability to take other people's powers.
Skylar.
Yes. And it's just the first season is great. I mean, it went out for about 5 or 6 seasons, but the first one is the best.
Yes.
And it's mostly because of the great characters. Which they did a great job of fleshing out the characters. And the ending of the first season, I cried. And I still get teary-eyed every time I watch it now. Good thing I bought that. Thanks, Blockbuster. I got the DVD for that episode.
Second season wasn't too bad either. I mean, you developed out the characters a little bit more. It's a few more years into the future. Was it Petrelli? Peter Petrelli? Skylar, the cheerleader. Save the cheerleader. That's what it was. Save the cheerleader, save the world.
Save the world.
And then the next time it changed to something else. I was trying to remember what the second one was, but they had an ongoing theme. Basically, we had a bad guy. Skylar was really the bad. Well, there was other bad guys in the series, but he was the one that everybody was following because
he was like the immediate one.
Yeah, he had his gift was the ability to see and understand abilities and then replicate them.
Anything actually, if he looked at anything, he could like if he opened up the phone, he could see how it worked.
Yeah, that was his ability, is to be able to see it. Now they never explained, and maybe I missed it. He wasn't the one that was making the brains disappear. Who was that? It wasn't him.
I remember he was taking people's skulls off.
He would take the skulls off to look in their brain because he did it to the cheerleader. But it never explained where the brains went. Because that was an ongoing, that was like he was eating the brains to absorb their abilities. But in the one episode with the cheerleader, they saw him
just digging around in her head.
He just looked and he figured it out. And then Peter Petrelli was an absorber, so if he was around somebody who had an ability, he would just get it automatically.
Yes, and
Skylar had to figure it out. He would just absorb it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was another absorber later in it. Because him and Skylar went at it in one episode, and they were fighting each other with each of their own abilities. So whatever Skylar had picked up from everybody else, Peter could use it right against him.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a really cool episode. And Hero was able to teleport and then eventually travel time.
Yep.
And then Adam, can't think of his name. Adam was, I guess, the original person.
I burned it.
No, hopefully not.
Oh, still cooking, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get that chicken ready. But yes, Heroes did have a really good premise, and there's another show that kind of mirrors it that I think is really good that but didn't get the traction that it deserved.
No, can't say it.
I can say it, Alphas, but I'm not going to go into it because it would be get into it. Alphas had a bit of an evolutionary track where people got
that was
powers.
kind of more of wasn't it more forced evolution?
No, it was about the same. The difference is like their powers had like negative effects to them, kind of. So the one guy that had super speed, he aged faster. The one guy that could use fire, I think he burned himself. And at the same point, it was everybody's effects. Everybody's powers had a certain effect. Oh, the one girl that had enhanced senses, she couldn't. Like she couldn't have sex because it'd be so intense for her that, or if there was a smallest smell to her, it was like overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's enough about me, about mine. Let's go to somebody else. Somebody else's turn.
Okay.
You was watching
Skylar remove the brains.
No, it's his turn. Shh.
No, I'm trying to Twilight Zone.
Shush!
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh. You just gave it away.
My bad. I was just trying to remind her. My bad.
No.
Go
ahead. You might as well do it now to catch out the bag.
You did see it.
I didn't see it. Go ahead, Ken. I'm just being me.
How about any of the Stargate TV series such as SG-1, Universe, and Destiny, or SGU? Anybody watch any of those Stargate series besides the movie?
No, I haven't seen any of the series. I've seen maybe 5 minutes here and there, but that's it.
Yeah, it's basically, if you've seen Stargate the movie, we learned that humans basically came around, but there was another group called the Goa'uld, which are a race of advanced aliens that basically use humans, or are able to use human bodies as hosts, and they use advanced technology, and they kind of assumed, in this case, Egyptian gods. Basically, they were gods, obviously, and they basically took humans from Earth and farmed them throughout the universe, making them basically indentured slaves. Mining what is necessary to build their technology, which was called naquadah, a mineral. But they basically have, because the people that they deal with think they're gods, they worship them like gods. Well, while they were gone and away for thousands of years, humans in our world, Earth, have grown up, raised up, and just heard about stories, but don't believe anything.
Yeah.
And now we know that the Goa'uld exist. You know, they have basically built a unit together to use the Stargate as a tool for exploration and learning, but also knowingly that we have other things going on out there besides us. And so it kind of follows a team, a group of individuals. One of the cast members, or a couple of them, carry on from the movie. But basically, they go and explore, run into, and have adventure kind of thing. And as we learn and build the world of the Stargate, we learn a lot of different things. We learn about a group of people from our own group called the Ancients, who basically were enhanced humans, an advanced human that had evolved and had left to go explore beyond the stars. We find the Goa'uld were actually just parasites that inhabit human bodies. We find there were 7 races that originally formed up to protect the universe against the Goa'uld. And so you learn all these different things, and then we kind of spawn off a couple different series. We have Stargate Atlantis, which the Stargates can go beyond our galaxy, not just in our galaxy, but other galaxies. So they go to another galaxy called Pegasus, in which they find an advanced city that the Ancients built. But even there, we have enemies that are there too, which are basically the I can't think of what they were called. But anyway, they find an enemy of new technologies. The adventure continues on simultaneously with Stargate, our Stargate, with their series. And then eventually that spawns off to another series, basically, again, based on the Ancients. The Ancients had sent out a ship called Destiny to, basically, Destiny is going out throughout the universe, dropping Stargates off so that we can travel to even further places. And they find the ship and dial the ship and go to the ship with a group of people. So it's basically a lot about exploration. We have 3 different groups of people, kind of 3 different major main bad guys, but each series is self-contained for the most part. Even though they simultaneously happen, they try to keep their storylines very to them. They do a lot of crossover here and there, but the series are well done. The early ones, kind of cheesy because they didn't get their footing yet. But as they grow, you develop with the characters, and you're with them for such a long time that you relate to them, you can attach to them, and you really kind of get involved in the stories. You're like, oh man, I wonder if so and so is going to show up, or you start thinking in advance of the series, and you learn a lot of stuff. It's very cool. It's again very similarly based on the movie Stargate that was out, but it gives you so much more in depth to the characters, so much in depth behind what was. If you watch the movie and you kind of get an idea, then you watch the series, it expands that in the universe immensely, and it's very rich storytelling and very cool stories. So definitely one if you want to binge watch, start with Stargate and work your way up. Highly recommended series. Next.
Well, if you didn't go ahead and ruin it, it was, of course, The Twilight Zone. I got into The Twilight Zone. I think it was, by myself. I think, I don't think nobody had me to watching it. Oh, was it my grandma? I don't know, but I like the opening and then the many stories, and the stories in it has me. It's just a whole bunch of, it can be science fiction, fantasy, thriller, suspense, just something. But Rod Serling, and when you hear his voice, like, I'm just gonna make something up.
Oh, the announcer guy?
Yeah. Rod Serling.
On this episode of Breaking the Babes, where we were talking about
Imagine, if you will.
Like, you're heading down a hallway, you see a stop sign. You look into the kitchen, but the kitchen's not there. Then you turn left to your right and see a goat. And then all of a sudden you turn around, you're
go check on the chick.
It's like you're in the Twilight Zone. Something like that. So, that series had me. There have been I was talking about the 1959 through to 64. There have been a lot of, I think, 3 revivals where they tried to get many new people to start. I know they tried to get Forrest Whitaker as an announcer. I don't think he worked out.
Forrest Whitaker.
I don't think he worked out that good.
They should go with Lawrence Fishburne.
Anyway.
Yeah.
They even had a movie out. I did not know that.
I like that movie. That's the one where the dude was on the plane, and they were like, "There's nothing out there," and he was like, "It was a creature." It was planes kept crashing, and the creature, he found out it was a creature was flying around, getting on the wings of the planes, crashing them.
Yep.
And he was like, "There's a creature out there."
Well, it was a remake of one of the original. In fact, the whole Twilight movie was literally a remake of the original series. That one had William Shatner, I think, was the original guy who did the monster on the wing.
Yeah, I was like, man, that was cool. It was great. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, it was just, I just like the stories up in it. Rod Serling. And then the thing about the story is they leave you like with wanting more, but no, it's not gonna happen. Yeah, I got that a lot in these in the series. Like, it just ends. I'm like, okay, what happened? Or it leaves you with like, okay, maybe to somebody else it's the mystery is solved, but to you it's not. I especially like the one where the woman, I don't know whether she was kidnapped, but there was 8 looking people, but she was normal, and they kept calling her ugly. And so they were like,
I think I seen that. Was she like a nurse or something?
No, I think she was the patient. She was like, "Why am I so ugly?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, we're gonna have to send you over here to where or according to them, the ugly people are." And so, yeah, and they were really, when they took off their things, they were messed up. But to her, they were normal. And to them, she looked, like us, but to them, she was ugly. So it's kind of,
They got that. Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Is it my turn?
Yes, and I think your turn will wrap us up for the evening.
I believe so too. So I'm going to bring up something a little bit more current, even though you said The Expanse, which actually is probably the most recent one.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about Stranger Things. I felt so bad for not watching this show when it first came out. I still need to jump on the second season. But Stranger Things is about stranger things that are happening in this Stranger Things little town involving Stranger Things people.
Really?
Okay. It's about these strange events that are happening in this town involving these kids, this sheriff, and this special girl, or this company, and this little girl that has psychic powers. And in the first season, it involves there's this creature from another dimension that's kind of running amok.
Dormagon.
Which that was a pretty cool creature. And then the second season, if you haven't seen it, there's another even bigger, even more powerful creature that's doing its thing. It's a really good series, and it has so many great moments in it, not only with just the characters, but the events surrounding everything that's going on in this little town. And I've had to bump this show up to like one of my favorites. I can't wait to start watching season 2, which I don't get to go to work in the morning, so I might start on it today. Woo! Mm-hmm. Starting watching TV, huh? Let me stop. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Ever since I watched that, the Hateful Eight, like the dialogue just goes with freaking everything.
Which we talked about.
That movie is hilarious.
I want to see it. That's one of the few that kind of came out and throughout last year that I was like, that looks interesting.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. Yeah, it's funny. It's violent, and it's got a lot of gore. But yeah,
no snakes on a cabin. Okay.
But I will say, Stranger Things is definitely a great science fiction show. It feels really well done, well written, well acted. It's probably one of the best ones I've seen in recent history. If you have Netflix, go check it out. It's definitely worth the time.
I like how they did the retro style to it.
Yeah, it's actually takes place in the 80s.
Yeah. Mid 80s.
Yeah. So that and it gives it that old time like 80s feel.
It feels like you're watching an 80s show.
Yes.
But with current visuals.
Yes.
But that's kind of what makes the magic of the movie, I think, or magic of the TV series, I think, is it gives you that old school feel with new school backing.
Mm-hmm. It was great. It's what did you think about the whole alternate dimension?
Oh, the Upside Down?
Yeah.
I would like to know more about the Upside Down. I mean, we have only seen a very hinkling. I mean, you very briefly get to see it in the first season. The second season, you see a lot more of it, but it still doesn't quite explain it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of theories because there's a particular scene I'm trying to, I think it's a gym in season 2. They show the gym in the modern day, and then how they do it, they kind of flip the screen and go to the underworld or the other side. But when you look at it, the cars are back to like older cars, like 1940s and 1950s cars, and the building looks newer. So it's like the mirror universe, or the other side is basically, there's some theories that people were throwing about it that it's a previous time time affects differently there.
Yeah.
But there's a whole bunch of really cool theories, and we could eat up all the night talking about it. But yeah, it's something worthwhile to check out, and some of them are really, really cool, the ideas that they come up with. Some people are some really creative thinkers out there, and even if that's not where the writers and directors of the show were going with it, it would be very interesting if they actually took some of those ideas and rolled it into season 3, just to explain the other side a lot more, or the upside down. That's the correct term, the upside down, because they had a lot of different things going on in the second season that bounce around a lot, and it makes you really want to think about it. And you're like, I wonder.
But I definitely pick up on that.
Definitely, when you watch season 2, be very open-minded and watch everything.
Something else just dropped on Netflix.
Altered Carbon's on there right now.
No, it's something that just dropped like today. Oh, Lost in Space.
Oh yeah, I gotta watch that too.
Okay, that definitely got to come back.
Space. I leave that open to interpretation because I've read about it, but I haven't seen it yet. So.
And with having said that, I guess we'll just end the show right here.
Well, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification button, and pay Narik's bills. Hit that button so Narik can pay his bills. No, we're just playing. We like doing this show. We like doing this show. We don't do it for the money.
We do it for the conversation and the exchange of ideas.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Build to us making money off this. Oh,
wow!
The camera's still on.
Turn that button off next time. Like, share, and subscribe, folks. Every Tuesday and Thursday, come back here, check out all of us, Madam B, Narik, and myself. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Well, mostly I'm here on Thursdays. Catch Narik and them on Tuesdays. And of course, the other sideline shows we got going on. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of good chats. If you have something you want to talk about,
what they could have done better, as well as a new series I'm thinking about doing called Character Ranking, which is we're going to pick a character from a book movie, a comic book movie, a video game movie, and we're going to rank them on the performance, the character themselves, as well as the design.
It's just kind of an overall review of a character.
So
from our opinionated selves.
So without further ado, we'll definitely catch you guys later.